What's good, Wizards fans, and welcome to Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, and my guy Brandon Scott. The Wizards find another way to lose, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
So I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. All right, so the Washington Wizards lost to the Chicago Bulls tonight, 111-115. All the Wizards starters were in double figures tonight, but that just wasn't enough. Turnovers, missed free throws, offensive rebounds given up. Brandon, what was your biggest reason for the loss tonight?
The same issues as always. Free throws, man. Free throws are just horrendous. We're a terrible free throw shooting team. And you're looking at the stats now. We shot 20 from 29, so 69% from free throw line. Again, free throws, you have to hit those 9 points. Do the math. You add 9 points to that total, we win that game. So, free throws are pivotal. We got to hit free throws. 3-point percentage, again, looking at the stats, 29%, 9 for 31. If you look at the Bulls, he shot 43. Again, we allow teams to damage us off the perimeter. And, of course, defense, perimeter defense in the paint. Yeah, it's just same story, just a different game, free throws. I can't stress enough why free throws. You got to hit those, man. You got to hit them. And you say it all the time. We are just not a good 3-point shooting team. So again, same demons come to haunt us tonight. But again, this was a very winnable game. Going to the fourth quarter, we challenged them. So it's a hard pill to swallow because it was a winnable game.
110%. I mean, they were up by 6 or 5 at one point. Kuzma hit a 3. We got a couple of fast break layups here and there. Porzingis scored in the paint. We were up in the fourth quarter. Monte Morris had a big 3. I thought this was one of his better games. But that offensive rebound at the end of the game, man, that hurt, man, because Deni got a stop on Levine, but they tap it back out, and they get the offensive rebound, and we have no choice but to foul. We have to foul DeMar DeRozan, and he makes his 2 free throws. Now, DeMar DeRozan, we did a good job on him in the first half. He had 6 points at the half. He ends the game with 27 points. So he put up 21 points in the second half. Him and Levine, they just went nuclear in the fourth quarter. There were some times where we left Zach LaVine wide open for threes. I don't know what we're trying to double team DeMar, trying to double team Vucevic, and we're leaving one of the best. We talked about LaVine last night. He had 41 points. The game before this game. He had 41 points, and he torches us. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, they usually torch us. Free throws again. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the free throws. Porzingis is a good shooter. He's missing free throws. Kuz is missing free throws, 20 for 29. It's just inexcusable, man. Inexcusable to miss that many free throws. And it's just the same thing. 3-point shooting is awful. 9 for 31, 29% from the 3. You just gotta get that rebound at the end of the game. You just have to, and you gotta have that fight, that 1-2. You gotta box out and get that time and time again. We've seen that so many times for the Washington Wizards, just giving up offensive boards. I thought it was good effort. Both teams were struggling for the most part. Both teams didn't really get hot until the fourth quarter. It was kind of a slow, methodical game. A lot of turnovers. We had a lot of unforced errors. We had 18 turnovers. We had a lot of sloppy play. Of course, some illegal screens that we had, just turning the ball over, sloppy passes, miscommunication. They just got to clean that up if they want to win games. Now, I thought they did play with some energy and effort. But once again, just free throws and just simple basketball stuff, we just don't execute well. And it rears its ugly head in the games, and we don't execute. And, we're a team where we have to be darn near perfect to pull out some of these games, So it's a game that the Wizards should have won, but they don't execute at the end, and they end up losing this one.
Yeah, it's a very sweet and sour game because it's sweet that going against the Bulls, yeah, they're minus Lonzo, but this is a still really good Chicago Bulls team. They're not really playing up to their talent this year, kind of like us. So it's just they're a tough team. DeRozan's a tough guard. He's a mid-range genius. If you saw a lot of those shots, he got a lot of defenders off that pump fake. And had a lot of people jumping tonight. He was hitting a lot of mid-range. Their bench played well. So, looking at our bench real quick, I mean, like I said, Gafford, I think in 17 minutes, 10 points, 3 rebounds, his energy was good. He's a real athletic center. If he could add a jumper, he's a good center. I like his energy. I like what he brings to the table. Like you said, every starter double figures. Morris tonight, 17 points, 8 assists, 2 from 6 from the threes. Kispert did well tonight. Porzingis, 0 for 6 from 3-point. Again, he tends to let the 3-point shot fly a little early in the shot clock. I don't like that. And it shows he's too quick to shoot it. Kuz, I thought, played well tonight now. 8 from 18, 2 for 5 from 3-point. So, like I said, sweet and salty. We are our worst enemy. We beat ourselves. This is the game this is a classic example of us beating ourselves, pretty much, because free throws is just inexcusable. You got to hit those, man. I can understand 3 or 4, but 9 points. Nah, I mean that's a game changer. And 3 points, just again, we are just not a good 3-point shooting team. We're just not, and I don't know. I don't think it's a question of do we have guys who are capable of hitting 3-point shots. I think we have guys who are shooting low percentage 3-point shots. I think that's what the difference is. Barton can't hit the 3. A lot of guys on his roster can't hit 3-point shots. Just we tend to rely so much on low percentage shots, and it's frustrating because and teams see this. Teams with the zone, they're going to zone us. I mean, the teams are going to come in. We are pretty much telling people how to beat us. You come up with a zone defense and force us to shoot every time. That's the blueprint on how to beat the Washington Wizards. So until we can really get back to team basketball and really prioritizing ball movement, it's going to be the same story every night. So, like I said, sweet and salty, but next we're going up against Indiana. Indiana's playing above expectations this season, so they're going to test us. So,
yeah, Porzingis 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. I mean, you just got to go to the basket. I mean, it was working for you. Vucevic wasn't able to stop him. He had 28 points tonight. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We just settle for threes, and we're not a good 3-point shooting team. And it hurts us that those bad shots, when we miss those 3-pointers, they usually turn into fast breaks for the other team because we don't get back on defense. We struggle with transition defense. Like you said, Gafford, I think the last couple of games he's played a lot better. The putback off of the Taj Gibson missed free throw, that dunk, just giving energy, running the floor. He's played a lot better. He had some big blocks tonight too. So I'm happy to see that he's back in a rotation. And contributing. But we're going to talk about some more players. We'll touch on Taj Gibson and Will Barton and Deni's play and some other guys, how they played tonight. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn is super easy to use. I used to use it when I was looking for a job. They got one-click apply, very easy to read. You can download the app. You can go online. So I know if it's super easy to apply, I know it's super easy for business owners and managers to use LinkedIn to find good candidates out there. They can flock to you, and the algorithms is super, super easy. The search buttons is so user-friendly. So here's how it works. You add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right. There was one time in the game where DeMar accidentally elbowed Deni. I don't know if they could have reviewed that foul, but I'm not going to say that really swayed the game. What were your thoughts on Daniel Gafford's performance. We'll go down the line. Daniel Gafford, Will Barton, and also Deni's performance. We'll start out with Daniel Gafford and Taj Gibson. What was your thoughts about their performance tonight?
Gafford and Taj brought some energy off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Gafford he's a very athletic big. He's able to really, his scoring in the paint is getting better. He's really turned into a good paint scorer. So, like I said, if he can add a mid-range, he is, I feel comfortable going to the next season with that extension. I really do, because these last 3 games, his energy has been crazy. Taj coming off the bench, again, his leadership. He came through, he hit that 3. He came through, and he just they play well together.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that Taj and really when West runs 2 bigs, this is they play well, whether it's Gaff and KP or Gaff and Taj. But I like seeing 2 bigs on the court. I think that's a good lineup. Going to Barton. Man, look, it's just another underwhelming performance. He continues to struggle. Even Chris Miller was talking about it, man. It's just, he's struggling. He's noticeable. It's just noticeable now. And there's no energy. I don't know if he even wants to be here anymore. He's just, I don't know what's he's hurting right now. So again, I know we have injuries, so obviously he's going to get playing time, but with everybody coming back eventually, you may see Will Barton out of the rotation because he's just not playing well. His shot is he's just not, no energy. So, going back to Gaff and Taj, man, I like what I saw from these 2 tonight. Gaff he's playing well. He's really responded to those, the low minutes he got earlier this season. He's getting a lot of more minutes and he's responded. So I'm very impressed with what I saw from both Gaff and Taj tonight.
Yeah, Taj had a couple of post moves. He hit a 3-pointer. I thought he brought some energy off the bench. He had 5 points. He was a +8 and a +-. Gafford was a +12 and a +-. He had 10 points, 2 blocks, 3 rebounds. I like the energy. And West he's starting to switch the lineups up a little bit. You got multiple guys out, Rui out, DeLon still out, Brad being out. So he has to experiment with some different lineups and play bigs. He played 3 bigs at one time towards the end of the game, trying to get an inbounds pass, I guess just for a quick alley-oop or a quick layup or something like that. So, it was a short rotation. Jordan Goodwin, he didn't get a lot of minutes tonight. Looking at his number, he got 13 minutes tonight, I guess because Monte played a better game. Wes decided to stick with Monte Morris. Monte Morris had 17 points and 8 assists. Thought he had a better game. He had a rough start. He got plucked by Vucevic in the beginning and took some questionable shots. But like you said with Will Barton, man, he's just been very inconsistent. Honestly, he hasn't really had a breakout game. I've been waiting for him to just have a nuclear big 6-man type of game where he's just scoring in bunches and gets hot like a microwave scorer, and he just really hasn't had it. He had a bad pass. I forgot who it was, but it basically went out of bounds. He only had 1 turnover, but his shot selection is just very questionable. 2 for 7 from the field today, which is not bad. 2 for 5 from the 3, but his shot selection and the flow of the offense just isn't working. And I know he started last year with Denver, and he's coming off the bench now, and he played with Jokic, so I know it's an adjustment, but he just hasn't played to expectation. He has been very underwhelming this year. He's just been kind of out of control at times and just taking shots at the beginning of the shot clock and just tough shots where there's hands in his face. So, yeah, it's been a struggle for him. It really has. Who else on here? Deni. I thought that he played a lot better than what he has in the last couple of games. He's been in a shooting slump. He only shot 1 3, which is best for him. He's just not – he's struggling from the three-point line. 4 for 8 from the field. 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He had 4 steals tonight. I remember he had a couple. He had a fast break and a dunk. He finished strong on one play. He had a scoop layup. 10 points, 4 steals, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. So he had a solid night tonight. And I thought he tried defensively. Did a good job with DeMar DeRozan in the first half. Second half, DeMar DeRozan was getting the better of the Wizards, just the whole team. It doesn't matter who was guarding him. He did get stripped towards the end of the game, and then that ended up in a fast break for the Bulls. So he has to be stronger with the basketball. But comparing to the last 4 or 5 games where Deni's been in a slump, this definitely was a better game from him. And he had an and one on Andre Drummond on a fast break as well. Kyle Kuzma, somebody in the comments talking about Kuz, he didn't get a lot of shots at the end. That was kind of weird in the clutch. He's our go-to guy. He didn't get many shots towards the end of the game either. So, but yeah, I'll get your thoughts on that too.
No, I completely agree. Deni played well tonight defensively. DeRozan's not an easy cover, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, and Deni continues to show that when he is motivated, he's an all, I'm not going to say all NBA, but I mean, look at his track record of the last 3 years of the guys he has shut down. He can play defense at a high level. So, defense has never been a problem for him. It's just, he slowed down the shot. He's still trying to figure out a shot, and he's getting better at driving. But I want to see more aggression driving the lane. I want to see him slam in traffic, man. I mean, I'm just waiting on him to make that, just waiting on him to go through traffic man. So, a little more aggression going towards the lane, but no, I think he responded tonight. Defensively, he was a lot better tonight. Somebody on here in the message board said 0 turnovers, 4 steals, 5 assists. Absolutely. I mean, defensively, he's on point. The only problem is just, throwing those offensive tools into his tool bag, getting better offensively. And I think he has improved as far as driving the lane, but I want to see more aggressive driving the lane. Not sub. I think it was that one play where he drove the lane and then he passed the ball inside the KP, which was a nice assist, but I kind of wanted him to, kind of drive through the lane. So, that's really the only, you know what I mean? So that's the really only negative I have against Deni tonight, man. The defense has never been a problem. I'm very comfortable with him guarding the best player on any team. Easy. I have no problem with that because he has shown that he is an above average, really good defensive player. So he responded tonight. It was good seeing him respond tonight and have a better night.
Definitely. Yep. All right. So we're going to get to some comments here and wrap it up. Brandon, if you see anything, definitely point it out. Let's see here. Perfect Finding says Gaff was great. Goodman tried to force too many low passes to Kristaps Porzingis. And if the team was less selfish, Deni would have an even better game. Deni and Goodwin, only unselfish players on the roster. I don't agree with that they're the only unselfish players. I mean, Gafford is not a selfish player. Kisper's not a selfish player. He moves the ball. He cuts without the basketball. So I wouldn't say, everybody's selfish except for Deni and Goodwin. I don't agree with that. Kuz moves the ball too. There's times where Kuz racks up on assists and he finds open. When we run the offense through Kuz, that's when, he finds a lot of open guys and a lot of open cutters and shooters. So I wouldn't say that. Goodwin did throw the ball too low to Porzingis on one play. I did see that. You got to throw the ball up high to somebody who's 7 for 3. You can't just, I know a bounce pass, it works sometimes, but you got to get the ball. You got to get the ball to your big man in a comfortable way where Kristaps can get it. So that's my response to that one. Gaff was great. I thought he's played so much better these past couple of games. I'm really happy because he was really struggling. He was getting pushed around. Guys like Nick Richards from the Hornets were pushing him around. I didn't see too much of that tonight. I thought he stood his ground. I thought he was strong. Going up against Andre Drummond, who's a big guy. Andre Drummond's 7 feet, 260 or something like that. That's a big guy to go up. And Vucevic too. The Bulls got some big guys down in the paint.
Yeah, Gaff, he showed up. I mean, I'm not mad at anything. Gaff has really showed up the last 3 games. He's really showing his capabilities. Like I said, he is just, in my opinion, he is a mid-range away from being a really, really good center. His energy, his athleticism, it showed tonight. I love what I see from him. And let's see, Perfect Finance again. Popular tonight. Let's see. Deni is not taken into account as an offensive option or a facilitator. Barton has no business being on the court. Morris played better. Absolutely. Morris played well tonight. He really did. 8 assists, I believe 17 points. Barton, it's tough because he's going to get playing time because of the injuries. DeLon's still out, Bill's back. He's out, Rue's out, so he's going to get playing time. So, I mean, really, it behooves him to, play better because right now is the time for him to kind of get his rhythm back in his shot because, once we get back to full strength, he could find himself outside the rotation because he's struggled. He's struggled noticeably this season.
Yeah, when DeLon Wright comes back, Brad comes back, Rui comes back, we'll see, if West shortens the rotation because, yes, it has been a struggle for Will Barton. He's shooting. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know he's not shooting well from the field. I know he's not shooting well from the 3-point line. There's nothing that that you can pinpoint to that he's doing well. Now he did hit some big threes. He hit a big 3 before the end of the third quarter that put us up. So I'll give him credit for that. He from time to time he will hit some big shots, and you do need some aggressiveness like that. You do need. I think he does play with a chip on his shoulder. He does play with a playground type of style. Dribbling the ball, a lot of isolation stuff, just dribbling the ball a little too much from time to time. I think that hurts the offense because we got to move the ball. The Wizards are just. Especially when Brad's not playing, they move the ball well. They got to keep that up. So, Barton. We'll see how his minutes are affected when DeLon comes back. Deni's not taken into account as an offense option or a facilitator. I thought, he did bring the ball up a couple times. He's not going to be playing a point guard position, but I do think they did use him as a facilitator. He was moving the ball, and he had 6 assists. We brought up a nice pass to Kristaps Porzingis. I thought he had a nice pass to Kuzma as well. Where Kuzma missed a layup at one point, and Deni had a nice pass. So Deni he did have some opportunity tonight where he did facilitate.
Yeah, he did, and I agree. He's a good facilitator. It's just, to me, I think my only knock against Deni is this: just more aggressive driving the lane. I think if you get that dog in him and it really finishes more strong, man. I mean, that's my only knock. I mean, obviously a 3-point shot, but that's we're not going to beat a dead horse. But no, I love what I saw from Deni. The defense was on point tonight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah, a big bounce back game for him. I was intrigued to see him bounce back. I think he does play better. So I think he plays better when Brad's not there sometimes. I don't know what it is, but I just think he gets more opportunities. He's more aggressive. He gets the ball more. So some guys, they just get more opportunities when Brad's not there. And I think Denny's one of the players that plays better when Brad's not there for some reason.
The reason is ISO ball.
Yeah, no, I'll let you say it. That's basically what I was saying. Oh man. All right. We'll read one more. Drew said, "Did you notice that West wasn't calling any plays for Kuz in the fourth quarter?" Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. It was weird that that Kuz wasn't getting any plays. Somebody asked about Kuz being traded. We'll probably talk about that tomorrow, Michael. That's something we're gonna bring up tomorrow. Let's see here. I guess last one. If Washington gets Jesus Christ, the team would still lose because the coach is awful. Brandon, any thoughts on that? That'll probably be my last comment for you tonight.
Where do I start? Look, I'll say this. There's a lot of decisions need to be made on this team, from the owner all the way down. We got to figure out what an identity is. We're in a tough spot. A long story cut short. We're in a tough spot because, if you look at Bradley Beal's contract, if you look at KP and Kuz going to player options, and you look at Rui and his restricted free agency, there's a lot of hard decisions need to be made. So I think we can be a better team going forward, but our general manager and the owner, they're going to have to be meticulous, man, with the moves made at the deadline and going to the offseason. So I'll say that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this loss was on Wes, honestly, because Wes can't go out there and make the free throws for you. He can't just not turn the ball over. So there was definitely a lot of times where we just shot ourselves in the foot. Wes can't go out there and box out and excuse me, get an offensive rebound. So I'm not blaming this loss on Wes.
No, it's not on Wes tonight. The free throws, that's 9 points, man. You add 9 points to the total, that's a dub. So I mean, free throws they're that important. They're very important. People sleep on the importance of free throws in the game. They can make or break a game. So, this is definitely not on West tonight.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's been some losses on West. The game where we lost to the Thunder, where you put Monte Morrison, the small defender on SGA, doubling Kevin Durant, playing zone against the Pacers where they hit a bunch of threes. There's been a lot of games where you can look at West. The Clippers lost last year. We were up by 35. The Nets game, losing to Kevin Durant by 42. There's definitely some games where you can put it on West, but this night just wasn't one of them. So, all right, but we're going to wrap it up here. Just want to thank you guys for listening, making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now, for your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Almost at 3,000 subscribers. Also, leave a 5-star review when you can on whatever platform you listen to us to. We would greatly appreciate it. Have a great night. Peace.